Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It is Friday and it is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to embrace our lives and make a decision to live in intention. And I see JC is here today and she already says today is a great day to slay. I'm so excited because today I get to introduce you to one of my most favorite people on the planet. I've got Darlene here with me, and Darlene is one of our most esteemed graduates from the high conflict negotiation training, the SLAY Master High Conflict Negotiation Training. And she is a bright light. Oh my gosh, wait until you get to meet her. Oh my goodness, she is beautiful inside and out. And every time I see you, you shine even more.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously, from the time I first met you, you have metamorphosized from, I wish that I had like pictures of what you started with to what you look like now.
Right.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
seriously?
Big change. I mean, myself even, I know. Yes. Inside and out, I noticed such huge differences. It's like every day is, brings me further along. And I love that. So, but yes, I was in the worst spot of my life when I started. So yeah. And everything was a scramble. And yeah, my mind was going a million miles an hour. I had thousands of file tabs open in my brain and half of them were frozen. And yeah, there was a lot going on, but I was just kept taking baby steps at a time forward. And I still continue to do that. So.
Oh my goodness. And so we've got people tuning in here. I see Robin saying hi to us, and I see Danette saying good afternoon. And Scott is in Joshua Tree, which I actually just sent out an email about Joshua Tree. Joshua Tree actually sits on a vortex, which is such a huge, beautiful place of vibration, which I love. And Speechless says, beautiful work. Thank you, everyone and everything. And JC says, thank you for everything you share. It's really helped me. Sherry says, hello from Tampa. Jason, hello from Atlanta. And so, I just want to say, let's take you back to where you were at the beginning of this journey. So we met, I think, last July.
Yes.
Is when we first met.
Yep.
And let's take you back to where you were then. What was your place? Where were you mentally? What was going on with you then?
Last July, I was in the middle of, a fierce, terrible, like all things ugly divorce from he had several categories of, mental illness. And, he was a narcissist and an alcoholic. I had been married 23 years. I have several medical conditions that I've never, dwelt on, but they're there. And I kept hearing, all I would hear is, you can't prove it. You can't beat them. And I was like, I'm not accepting that as an answer. So I dug and watched 1,000 or more YouTube videos, anything I could get my hands on. And I just remember I watched maybe a half a dozen of yours. And I was like, oh, I just found the one. This is it. This is the way I'm going to do it. Like it was logic based, and it was just bit by bit material, because at that time, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm like, if someone had told me to served a whole plate of how to get this done, I couldn't have even kept it down. But taking it baby bites at a time was what I'm like, okay, that I can do. And then I just wasn't willing to take the classes of yours that I took long before I signed up to be a coach. I'm like, no, if I'm going to do this right, I'm going to do this right, and I'm going to see how it fits. So for me at that time, that was just an astronomical investment for me, because when you're coming out of those situations, they leave you in an often really rough spot financially. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a step out, and you never know if you never try. So I was like, and I mean, every second after that, it just felt like my recovery and like moving forward in like literally getting to the point where I mopped the courtroom floor with my ex. Like those were my lawyer's words. And yeah. And so, but yeah, it was in a terrible spot that I was in. I mean, the roughest of the rough. I mean, I was getting my house ready to sell. Yeah, it was, you name it. I had recording devices. I had everything going on that could make it not work. And I just was like, I am going to do this. And I did. I made everything work. And yeah, last November, it all came to a 2-day trial that I literally, like, there's no better word for what I did. So it was a landslide.
And you ended up going into court. Your lawyer didn't even think that you
No,
were.
she said there's no way to win. I said, I have 150 exhibits. I said, how many do you want? I said, and they all match up with the statutes. I said, so I'm going to get full physical and full legal custody. I don't care if there's a temporary order. I'll get around that. I had witness lists lined up based on, you working your program and coaching going through the coaching program, going through all your programs. And it was life-changing. It was life-changing. I knew, and you said something at the beginning, you're like, it doesn't matter if you have the best lawyer in the world or the worst lawyer in the world. If you don't go in there believing in yourself and work on this program, and it's not easy. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes discipline, but the things you're fighting for are invaluable. Not only are you showing abusers that it's not okay to destroy people, that was a big one. I was winning this case for full physical custody for, I got everything I asked for plus some. So yeah, it was keeping your children safe, being financially secure. Those are things I would have never gotten because my lawyer wanted me to settle early on at very little. And I just was like, nope, I'm not doing it. So I let her think. I didn't even let her know I was building the case because it would have been counterintuitive. So I built the case, and then a month before I dropped it all on her. And I said, here, send the witness list over first. And that got it, rattled his cage a little bit, which is what I intended it to do. And yeah. And then I just kept going from there. It was amazing. And she was like, wow, okay. And yeah, at the end, she even said, she was like, oh, I won the case. And I looked at her kind of funny, and she's like, well, we won the case. I'm like, there we go. Yeah, we won the case. Yeah. So, but no, she said she had never seen anything like it in her 15 years of trials against. Yes.
And so here you are, and it's so incredible to have seen, the change as you went through the high conflict negotiation training, and now you are coaching people.
I am.
To do the same thing.
Yes, I actually donate my time. And so it's all people coming out of the abuse shelter. That was the niche I felt called to. And yeah, I can afford to do that because of the program, because I had to work out. I mean, I did everything ethically, and I always tell people that's what I'm most proud of. But I'm finding you hardly can put your name out there that you do this because you would be inundated with phone calls. The need far outweighs the people that know how to win this successfully. So what I've been doing is just saying the way you can pay me is to pay this forward when I get you to the winning side. We're going to get to the winning side of your legal battle, and all I ask is that you pay it forward. So
yeah, and that's how you help yourself heal too.
Yes,
yes. The fastest way to help yourself heal is to help others who are going through what you've been through. And so, and I just want to mention to everybody that next Wednesday, I am going to be hosting a webinar on this training. So for anybody who's interested in learning how to become certified in high conflict negotiation, the same training that that Darlene did.
Mhm.
Come and learn more about it. It is going to be amazing. It's, just come and join me. Just go to highconflictcert.com. It's next Wednesday, March 20th at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Come join me, come learn more about it, because if you feel called, it'll either add to the profession that you're already in, because no matter what profession you're in, you're dealing with high conflict individuals. I have no doubt about it.
Yep.
No doubt about it. Or if you want to just start a brand new profession like Darlene has done, then you can do that too, because the training will teach you how to do that.
Right.
So come and join us and learn how to do it just the same way that Darlene has done. So it really has, it transforms lives. It transforms lives. Somebody says, you are so amazing. Thank you for all you do. Just says, do you need to be an attorney? No, Darlene is not an attorney.
No. I may have missed my calling, but yeah, no, I am not an attorney. But yes, you do not have to be an attorney. I had no legal background, and I learned every possible thing, and just it's just a program like no other. And I researched, and I'm a researcher by nature, but I researched everyone I could find. And I really was just like, no, this is it. This is what I can hang my hat on. And I love, like, there's everything about it. The camaraderie, you meet a ton of coaches that are on fire. You meet, it's just, it is that high conflict, the seminar she's talking about, it literally changed my life like no other event in my life. So if you can hop on, maybe it's for you and you will find out, but I cannot recommend it any higher than, it just, and I've said this too before. I'm like, the narcissists in your lives, or, maybe, someone with a narcissist in your life, whatever situation you're in, they go after the best of the best. So I would like, you to remember that, like, we're grade A supply. So just keep that in your mind. Like, they went after the best. They didn't kill all the good in us. They just they squished it down. And so all I'm saying is, this kind of gives you that button that will just reinflate you. And that's the best description I give to people. I'm like, don't settle. And they become this small little inconvenience that's towards your ankle. So when my ex would kind of bug me, I would look down at my ankle. I'm like, okay, what do you need? And I would quickly handle it, look down at my ankle. And then I would look back at the big, beautiful world that was still there. So I just needed to change my mindset and reinflate. And am I there yet? I don't know. I don't know that I'll ever stop growing or trying, or, trying to get this on a bigger platform. I can't tell enough people. So yeah.
So somebody is saying, I need a good attorney. I'm going through this nightmare in California. And if you need a good attorney, the SLAY program and also the high conflict training is the place to start, because you don't just need a good attorney. You also need this. And the SLAY program shows you where to go get an attorney, by the way. And it also has the Make My Lawyer My Ally packet and all of that. And Darlene, do you want to speak more about that as well?
Like, as far as getting an attorney,
Yeah.
I agree. You would want to find someone that was, that had some knowledge in narcissistic tendencies or abuse, or in whatever arena you're in. It could be real estate. It could be anything. It's, we all have our own different niches, but I still, at the end of the day, think without this program, the SLAY book, Negotiate Like You Matter, there's several of Rebecca's books that, I knew what colors to wear. I knew how to present myself. I knew to not slouch my shoulders. I knew to not lean in on a question when I was crossed. I mean, you learn all of these different things that just every single thing you learn empowers you. But my lawyer literally from day one was fighting against me. So I'm like, I didn't know at that time to get a different lawyer or if I could. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to win because of this program despite her. And so I did. And I have other, I deal with, other people coming out of the shelter, and some are kind of locked in and can't go to another lawyer because they've got better rates at one. And I'm like, that's okay. We can work around that. Like, no problem. So you can have the best or the worst. But what it comes down to is taking the elements of the slave program, no matter which program you decide to do, and taking those step by step, and you will really begin to take charge of your case yourself, to some level. And I was even telling my lawyer things I wanted added on to my judgment of divorce that she didn't even know you could do in Michigan. So I'm like, oh, you can. I already looked it up. So those kind of things, it's like you have to, at the end of the day, be your best advocate for yourself. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the lawyer knows the law.
Yes.
And you can kind of help them, but you're the one that has all the best information in your hands.
Yeah.
And the lawyer is going to look to you to say, how do I respond to that? Or what information do you have? Or, I mean, even for me as a lawyer, all the years that I practiced, if somebody accused you of something, I would be like, okay, how do you want me to respond to that? Or what, is that true? Or blah, blah, blah. And so you're the one that has to be the one that has the information, who puts it all together, who says, did they lie? Or what is the summary of that? Or what, I mean, and so, yeah, you need a good lawyer, but you really are the one at the end of the day that has to be the best advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
And in the slave program, I do teach you how to find, lawyers, and I give you the questions for vetting attorneys. And I also do give you the Make My Lawyer My Ally packet, which teaches the lawyers like the do's and don'ts for dealing with narcissists on the other side. Like, for example, if your lawyer is sending settlement proposal letters back and forth, that is a complete waste of time and money, because a narcissist is never going to settle that way, ever. No. That is completely, you might as well take your money and flush it down the toilet. They have to have leverage. You have to have serious leverage against them, and you have to be squeezing them in. And of course, I teach you how to do that in the programs. And because they have to feel squeezed, they have to feel like there's real incentive to settle. And as long as they're still getting supply from you, they're going to take that supply. And so they're not going to settle with these settlement proposals back and forth. That's just a waste of time and money. So that's just one example of a do and don't for lawyers. Another problem, and I put this in the Make My Lawyer My Ally packet as well, is a lot of times lawyers let people get away with things too much. They don't file like the motions to enforce or the motions to compel right away when somebody doesn't comply with discovery or comply with an order. Like they let them get away with things, and then the narcissist feels like, I'm golden, I got this, and I'm running this show, right? And you can't do that when you're dealing with a narcissist. No. You got to be right on their butt. And so those are just a few things.
Yeah.
Just a
And
few.
I did that exactly that. I filed motions the second, you know, the second he stepped out of line. I was like, nope, we're not. Yeah. And I kind of say, like, you kind of have to put a bit in their mouth and like jerk it back every once in a while just to remind them. But, I kept a majority of my information, like, kind of, on the, he didn't necessarily know what I was doing. He didn't know the strides I was making. He thought I was the same person, the damaged shell of a person that I was when I asked him to leave. And so for me, I think, and Rebecca says this too, it's got to be part of you. You've got to save it. You have just, maybe one or two opportunities to lock this in. And, you might find, who knows what, mediation might be the best fit, but as long as they're getting supply from someone, and I've noticed this, it doesn't matter if it's from good, negative or positive attention, they're still getting attention. So they will drag this out longer than you can imagine. And for reasons that everyone else is like, what is wrong with him? And I'm like, well, if I knew that, I can tell you, but yeah. So everyone else can see it. But then every time someone else could see it, I turn them into a witness.
Yeah. I mean, they will take themselves down to
Yes.
take you down.
Agreed.
And that's what people don't understand. Lawyers do not see that. They don't understand that. And what we talk about that in the program, we explain like their brain physiology. And so once you understand how they operate and how they work, which we talk about in the program, then you can understand how to deal with them.
Yeah.
And we also talk in the program about how to deal with trauma and blocks and fears and how to become your authentic self and so many things, right?
Yes. And in the program and in your books, it's like, they all have some of the same information, but all in a different twist. And I think the combination of like your books and the programs together is what kind of brings it all together. So I would recommend, there's not one I wouldn't say get in your wheelhouse.
Yeah. So I just want to go some of these questions. I just wanted to make sure. Somebody said, Robin said, Darlene, thanks for sharing your situation and details. It's so encouraging to know. I'll definitely use. And somebody says, make a timeline and document everything. So somebody is asking, did you struggle with your own negative behaviors after the discard, and how did you address them? Post-separation tactics were worse than the dynamic in my situation. So I guess they're asking, did you struggle after?
Did I struggle after?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. I mean, and I would say if someone says, it doesn't matter if you're, in a relationship for 6 months or 40 years, you're going to struggle, and there's going to be good days and bad days. And my best advice is, the best thing you can do is give yourself a ton of grace. And I had something up on my refrigerator and I keep it there. And it's like, if all you did was make it through today, you're still a winner. But then I wouldn't let that deter from what I was going to tackle the next day. So of course, yes, who I am today is completely different. And I want to tell people that I'm like, if you could have seen me with not colored hair and not like barely like, struggling through, and it was an hour to hour. So yes, of course there is trauma. And I would say for that, there's amazing counselors, there's support groups, there's, you have to utilize what's out there for you. And I think if you pull all those things and kind of combine all of those, it just makes this beautiful circle of healing and getting your power back and getting that glint in your eye back and your strength and your tenacity, all of which is there, and you'll find it.
Do you want to talk about the high conflict training, the community, and how that helped you during this situation for you.
Oh, yes, the high conflict training. Well, it's a very, you become a very small personal group, and you lean on each other, and you have people from every different, some are dealing with troubled youth, and some are attorneys, and some are, into real estate niches. And I was in, as an abuse victim, not sure how I would use it, but I knew I would find a way and what felt right. But it's such a beautiful community. And, I've got to give a shout out to Rebecca on this one. I think one of the major reasons it is such a strong bond between the coaches is because of the love and the genuine, and like her personality and the nurturing and passion that just like it oozes out of her, is no better way to say that. And she gives that love. And I remember going into some of those classes thinking, I cannot do this. I can't. It's beyond me. And leaving like I wanted to change the world. And this would be in a couple hours. And I'm like, oh my word, okay, I got this. And, and I left one of those classes early on, and I was like, I said to my kids, I'm like, I just got $20,000 worth of free legal advice.
Yeah.
And so if you can't repay for your program, I would say it's a pretty much a guarantee. You will learn invaluable things while you're also learning how to help yourself and potentially help so many others when the need is astronomical. You will never be in short supply of people wanting your expertise or need. I'm constantly thinking of how I can get the word out in a bigger way, rather than individual. But for now, it's like, okay, time will open up when the right spot opens. And yeah, so I don't think you can tell enough people, but you will get more value. It is a close-knit community who I still am in contact with. The coaches, they're all over the world, which is a fun, kind of exciting, you're in the coziness of your house or wherever you are, and you're chatting with people online. And then I would go to the study halls, and you're meeting even different people that might be in a different, maybe they're not quite as far ahead of you in the program, and you can walk alongside each other and still get a ton of different, and maybe even find what your niche is. And I kind of did that way. I didn't know what I would want to use it for, and I soon figured that out. But it's a beautiful, fun, a lot of laughter, a lot of community, and so much knowledge. But I was soaking up the knowledge. I couldn't wait to do the homework. I was upset if I got a 98% on one of the quizzes.
Oh, I know. You're so funny with that.
I'm like, I'm going back. I'm going to get that 2%. But yes, so I loved them. I just could not wait to like get an hour or two. And that's another thing. It's very doable. I didn't have, 9-10 hour stretches. So I would go in and work for an hour and step back out. Or sometimes I would dedicate 3 hours, but I always put it in my calendar because for me, it was a priority. And I think for you, you've got to be willing to say, hey, this has got to be a priority for me. I would schedule it just like I would any other appointment because it was that important to me. And I think if you go in with that mindset, you cannot lose, and you will, any dollar amount, Rebecca would charge, or, is a penny on the dollar to what you'll get back from that. So,
oh, thank you. And
yeah.
one of the things that I really do love is the study halls for you guys, because
Yeah.
that is where you can go in and have that sense of community. Every single week you can meet with each other, and we have a lot of the coaches who've already graduated come back and be with each other just because they love that sense of community and that sense of support with each other. And we, like you said, we've got doctors, we've got lawyers, we've got sales professionals, we've got accountants, we've got people who are coaching, like you are. No matter, we've got people who are just using the program because they want it as support while they're going through a divorce or dealing with a business partner, or a family member to help them. So yeah, come on March 20th and join me, learn more about the program, and then we can tell you more about it. But I know that for Darlene, I just so love you, Darlene, and I love having you as part of our community and part of our world. And we've had so many coaches now graduate from this program. And so if any of you are feeling like called, your higher self, your authentic self is feeling called to become part of this training, you think, you know what? I think that I want to help people. I think I want to, earn more and help people who are dealing with this. I want to use what I've been through to help others. I want to take my pain and use it for purpose. I want to use my trauma for transformation. Please come and join me on Wednesday at 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. If you can't join me live, if you sign up, you'll get the replay. So if you can't join me live, sign up and you'll get the replay of the webinar. It's just, we're going to tell you more about the program, and we would love to have you learn more about it, because this is really my baby. This is really me saying, I dealt with these people in my life, and I feel called to help more people with this. And, now Darlene is using this to help others. And so to me, this is, God's work. So Scott says he's signing up. I can't wait. Post link as your live disappeared. It's here, high conflict cert right there. So please make sure that you sign up. I can't wait to have you here as part of this. Make sure that you come join me. Scott says, I recommend your YouTube channel. Thank you. I'm grateful.
And I would say too, if you're anything like me, you're going to have some doubts about whether it's the right fit or the right time, but I always say, you'll never have time for anything. If you want time for something, you have to make it. And so I'm just like, to say I saw it and I knew immediately, no, I really had to think about it and be like, is this right? And kind of toiled with it, a day or two, but it was like, those are normal emotions when you're jumping into any new program. But all I can say is, yeah, I jumped in, with my baby toe. And by the end, I was like, I was splashing in the pool, like deep end. I loved it. And so I would say, kind of push past some of those self-doubts that sometimes, the narcissist has a way of making you self-doubt everything. So I am just like, no, kind of brush off that control that they've kind of set your brain to, wire in on doubting all your decisions, because they're crazy making, they do all these same tactics. So I know many of you can understand, but, at that point, I'm like, okay, he's still controlling me. Is that what I want? Or do I want to do what feels right to me? And this program had all the makings of it, along with Rebecca being just the amazing person she is. So
thank you. And I do want to add, like, no one is coming. No one is coming to save you.
No.
Right?
No.
I mean, it's not anyone's job to come and save you, and nothing is going to change unless you change it. Seriously. I mean, how long have you been dealing with this person or this situation or whatever, and how much longer do you think it's going to go on? So that's why I say, come and at least just find out about it, hear more about it, because it has been transformative. This stuff has been so transformative for me as I have learned it. And I can tell you that, having been a lawyer for so long, and then until I started learning it for myself, it really transformed my own life. And that's why I have in turn decided to share it with the world. And now it's helped to transform so many other people's lives. And I just, that is why I share it. You are most qualified to help the person that you used to be. That is who you are most qualified to help. And you heal by helping others. That is actually, there's a study out of Berkeley that says that you heal faster by helping others. And that is why we are here. So, and I see Paris, who's also one of our high conflict negotiation graduates. Hi, Paris. It is so nice to see you here.
Yeah, hi, Paris. She was in mine.
I miss seeing your beautiful face and your beautiful energy. I'm going to be having a reunion of all of the coaches here in a couple of weeks. I hope you can join us, Paris, then. So, so for all of you who think that this training might be for you, come join us, please. And I put a link there. I hope that all of you can see it. It's up, but it should be up here as a banner. I hope that all of you can see it there too. March 20th, 11 a.m. Pacific time or 2 p.m. Eastern. The link is highconflictsearch.com to sign up. All right. So thank you, Darlene.
Yes, I loved it. Anytime I can share, I love it.
Say your last name for me. It's like
mine, Verstraight.
Verstraight. Okay. Yeah. It's like a little bit complicated for me. Verstraight.
Verstraight. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So thank you all. Scott R says, got the link. All right.
Love
Paris
it.
says, I'm going national. Paris, you are the best. Love you guys. All right. Is it advised to correct your current narcissist program before delving into the program? No, you can do it while you are dealing with your narcissist problem.
Yes.
Actually, that has helped a lot of people. That Darlene, you did it.
That's my story. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I was halfway through, and unfortunately, I was halfway through and I had already signed a few things I wished I hadn't, but I'm like, okay, I have a case big enough to wipe those things out, eradicate those. So that worked out, but I don't know that I would have been able to get out of those contracts without this program. And just learning, there's invaluable. And I always say, what's the harm in going and hearing a little bit more and taking time to see if it's the right fit for you? It's a win-win situation to go and just hear what's offered and get a little bit more detail about the program. But I can tell you, it covers everything, things you wouldn't even imagine. And if you're looking to, turn this into your vocation, like, you'll have everything you need, every nuts and bolt. Like,
Rebecca
gives everything.
Literally
like,
everything you need.
From day one to starting, lock it up. I'm like, so I was like, I loved that part of it. It was so all inclusive. There were no add-ons. In fact, she was adding on additional items to help us as the class went on. And that's what I loved. So I got to really give a shout out to Rebecca, because you've created a platform that is just changing so many millions of lives, and, teaching us to be people who can then take it out, at all of our different niches. You don't know what yours is. I didn't know what mine was. I went in for a very selfish reason, and that was to win, to beat my abuser in court. And that's it. Yeah. And I said, once I did it, I'm like, how could I possibly stay quiet about this? Because then I wanted to just blurt it out to everybody. So I'm always saying, but Rebecca really just, she has just puts her heart and soul into this. And she is one of the most authentic, genuine, caring, loving people I have ever met. And I just think it's an honor and a privilege. Who she is on when you're seeing her right now is who she authentically is. And that is something I think is such a kind of a lost quality in some people, but I need you to know, who she is right now. That's who she is,
Oh,
and
thank
she's
you.
amazing. So
Thank you. I love you, Darlene. And I just absolutely love all of my coaches so much. And Paris says very caring and listening. Thank you. And Lisa says, I want to help. So come join us next Wednesday and find out more. And Robin has signed up. So I'm glad I get to see you. And all right. Well, thank you, Darlene. This has
yes,
been amazing. And
loved it.
Lala says, I just signed up. Wonderful. Is it easy to convince one's attorney to convince this program? I guess I think it just depends on the attorney. We have had several attorneys in the program, and if you can't, then just do it yourself and give the attorney the stuff, just like Darlene did.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thank you all and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Darlene.
Loved it.
And
Thank you for the opportunity.
yes, God bless you all. All right. Thank you.